Hoka, you beast, you. I see what you've done. So, they've taken the best daily trainer, the Mach 5. Well, this is a Bondi 8. This is just an example. And fused it with their best running shoe to date, the Rocket X2. And the result? Hoka Mach X. Let's talk about it. Okay. Welcome to the channel, Aubrey Running, and on Instagram, Aubrey.running. Please do give me a follow and let's connect. As at the time of filming this, it's actually my birthday today. Special shoot. You've given me 3,780 subscribers. Thank you very much. Let's start talking about Hoka's latest release, the Mach X. I've got a new segment in my review, the profile of this shoe. This is a neutral daily trainer, but on steroids. It's going to cover all of that. I say on steroids because it's got super shoe elements. It has a plate in there. It has dual foam layout on the midsole. In summary, a daily trainer that's going to cover you for your speed sessions and on race day. The three things we always need to talk about any shoe. Look, it's all about the price. This is the single biggest, most important stat. 160 pounds at launch, good job. And then next, the weight of the Mach X. Size 9.5 UK, not light, not heavy, it does the job. For example, the Nimbus, Gel Nimbus 25 is 275. Perhaps one of the most interesting bits, the stack height and the drop. 37 mil at the back, 32 at the front. Now that is a very good stack height with a 5 mil drop, contributed by the introduction of a PBA foam, an EVA foam, and a P-Bax plate. We'll talk about that later in the midsole. Love it. As I always like to say, I pride myself in simplifying shoe reviews. No more language, discussing the shoe, starting from the top, working our way down. Let's start with the heel. The heel counter's got a lot of structure and it's quite secure in terms of how it feels, but it's also padded to sort of cushion against that solid structure. No problems whatsoever, no runners not required. Well done. And then next, the tongue. Gussetedness. Yes, you've given us the gussetedness. For those not too familiar, I look for two things in a tongue. Actually three. Is it gusseted? Meaning is it attached in the inside of the shoe, giving it a fixed position? This one is attached on both sides. The second thing, how about the padding on the tongue? Because what you don't want to do is when you're tying down, feeling like a boa constrictor is about to take your life. Where you see the Mach X writing on the tongue, that is actually padded and it takes away from that pressure. Well done. The next thing is the thickness of the tongue. They've done a very good job of keeping it thin and still perforated to make it breathe. Nice touch. Aubrey, you always fuss about the laces. What's with the lacing system on the Mach X? Well, let's talk about it. Simple is always better, the same way less is always more. They've done a very good job here. Simple. Put holes in the upper, fortify those holes, and the laces are there. The one thing to also say about the laces, they feel a bit stretchy. They've got a texture to them that adds to the fact that when you tie them, those bad boys are not coming undone. Now look, I don't really know if there's much else I can add to the lacing system here, apart from it's all it needs to be. Just keep it simple. Next up is the upper. I love this. There is a criticism though, but I love it. When I review running shoes and we get to the upper, I talk about two things, the performance of the upper as well as the look. Let's start with the performance. And in this, I break it down into three areas. The fit of the shoe. It's true to size. There might be a concern though, if you've got a wide foot, maybe try and size up half a size. But to me, I wear a 9.5 and it fits perfectly. The second thing is the breathability. This is the only criticism I have for this shoe. Now, they've done their very best in introducing perforations all around to contribute to the breathability of this shoe. But I still feel like it's a very thick material to start with. Just from look and feel, you can pick that up. Secondly, where I mentioned about the tongue being gusseted, that is also an additional layer adding to the thickness of this upper. In terms of the looks, I tell you what, there must be some genius at Hoka that's walking up and gone, let's change things up. When they released the Rocket X2, I was like, wait, is this a Hoka shoe? Because it's not the standard Hoka look. And they've followed that in the Mach X. The look of this shoe, the colorways they've launched with. Hoka, you're doing this right. The star of the show and the most significant section of this shoe is the midsole, no doubt. This is without a doubt the star of the show. There are 3 layers here, and Hoka have done this perfectly well. I'm going to tell you about the technicalities, but more importantly, what it was like to run in it. There are 2 foams here. The white you're seeing is a PEBA foam. Now, I don't care for technical terms, but this is a foam being used in some super shoes. It is the most immediate foam that your foot contacts with after the insole, obviously, for comfort. It is cushioned. It feels great. After that is a P-Bax plate. Not a carbon plate, it's a plastic one for propulsion and giving you that return of energy. But more importantly, because it's got that PEBA foam, it adds stability. It works together with the foam at the bottom, the colored layer, the EVA foam, to bring a lot of structure, adding to that return of energy and stability we talked about. More importantly, what did it actually feel like to run in? I did 2 easy runs, all of them ending with some strides. The strides on the second section were specifically set just to be strides. 11 times, 20 seconds on and 40 seconds off. And you get exactly what Hoka is trying to do here. It's very comfortable at the slow pace. It feels very, very well cushioned, but it doesn't struggle with turning it up a bit. It doesn't struggle with stability. The speed is actually really, really good. Now, if you're an average person like I am, an average runner, you're not gonna be taking 2-minute Ks, 3-minute Ks as such. But you know what? My strides, it got to 3-minute 29 per K pace, and it felt great. Lastly, let's turn the shoe over and talk about the outsole. I don't have any concerns with the grip here. It's the same grip you will standardly see in Hoka, and they standardly do a good job. The second thing is resilience. That EVA foam we talked about. Is the rubber on the outsole going to protect that EVA foam, as well as the rubber itself? Is it going to stand the test of time? What Hoka has done here is they've placed 2 rings at the back and some coverage at the forefoot, as those are the key landing zones. Whilst I haven't put a lot of mileage in the shoe, it's the same construction that I've got in the Bondi 8. And to be honest with you, I've got no complaints. Who is this shoe for, and should you buy it? I can't fault this shoe. At the price point of £160, 180 US, it starts to make a big statement to go, do you really need the other shoes? And if you're in a place where you can't afford the other shoes and you're looking for a new pair of shoes, Hoka, you've got my vote in this shoe. Well done. If you found that useful, please do consider subscribing to the channel. I also have 2 reviews you might want to see from Hoka. The Rocket X, which I'll put over here, and the one we started with, the Bondi 8. Thank you for watching this one.